Turn around, babe. All right, 6-1, 6-2 quiz is going to be on Thursday. You guys will be allowed to use a calculator, and it will be multiple choice. So just letting you guys know that. It's going to be a multiple choice quiz. It's only over 6-1, law of sines, and 6-2, which is law of cosines. So hopefully you guys watched the video for 6.1. We're going to talk about the ambiguous case, meaning if there could possibly be two triangles. I just have a couple examples here, and then I'll let you guys get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about what the law of cosines is. Okay, we had law of sines, which the law of sines was what we used when we had an angle and its corresponding side, correct? And it's just a proportion, sine A over A, sine B over B, that sort of thing. This is the law of cosines. Why is this called the law of cosines, do you think? It uses cosine. Very good. Law of sines uses what? Trig function. Sine. If I gave you this triangle and I said, okay, solve this triangle, you guys would either use law of sines or law of cosines because it's not a right triangle. Why do I know by looking at this I cannot use law of sines? There's no angle, right? They didn't give me an angle and its corresponding side. So in this case, they gave me three sides. I have to find one of the angles. It doesn't matter which one you find. I always say to find the biggest one first. So what would the biggest angle be? B, because it's across from the longest side. Agreed? So if I'm going to find angle B, which formula am I going to use? Is it going to come from the standard side or from the alternate side? Alternative, because I'm finding the angle measure. Agreed? Yeah. So you guys are simply going to say cosine of B equals, fill in the formula. What is A? 8 squared. Okay, so 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared divided by what?
Over 2 times 8 times 14.
Okay, so calculators, please. Simplify the numerator. What's 8 squared plus 14 squared plus 19 squared? 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 19 squared? Negative 101, okay. And then what's 2 times 8 times 14? 224. All right, so the cosine of angle B is negative 101 over 224. God bless you. Does that give me the angle measure? No. So in our calculators, what do we do to find the angle measure? Cosine negative 1. So literally just put it in your calculator just like that. Cosine negative 1 and then put that fraction in. It'll tell you what the measure of angle B is. 116.8 degrees. You guys agree? Okay, so now I have found that angle B, God bless you, is 116.8 degrees. Now that I have found angle B, what law can I use?
Law of sines.
I can do sines now because I have a side and its corresponding angle measure, yes? Yeah. Now, I don't have to. I could use law of cosines again if I wanted to, but law of sines is easier. So I'm just going to take this information, and which angle do you want to solve for?
Angle A.
Okay, you guys want to go for A? All right, so I'm going to say sine of 116.8 over how long? 19?
Yeah.
Does it matter the degrees and radians?
You need to be in degrees. Yeah. Good question. Over sine A over 8. All right, how do we solve this? We're going to cross multiply. So 19 sine A equals, yep, sine 116.8 times 8, or however you want to do it. Now what?
And then you
divide by the 19. So you give me 4 decimal places. The sine of angle A is about how much? 6 what?
Oh, how many?
Give me 4.
3758.
3758?
Yeah.
Is that the angle measure?
No.
No, that's the sine of that angle. So in your calculator, you're going to hit second sine and then put in 0.3758, and you tell me angle A is about how much? 22 point something?
Yeah, 22.10.
Okay, so 22.1 degrees.
Yeah.
You guys okay with that? All right, so angle A 22.1 degrees. Now, when we talked about our law of sines, we talked about the possibility of sometimes having two triangles. The way that we check to see if something has two triangles, the first angle that we found was 116.8, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say 116.8. That would be in both triangles. Yeah. All right, in triangle 1, we just found that the second angle is 22.1, yes? Agreed? Yes or no? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, how can I find out the measure of angle C? I can add those two. So what is 116.8 and 22.1? 138.9. Yeah. All right. And then what is the leftover? I take 180 minus 138.9. I get what? 41.1 degrees. Okay. Now, if a second triangle existed, what you do is you find the supplement to the second angle. So what is 180 minus 22.1? 157.9. It is a second triangle possible. Add these two together. What's 116.8 and 157.9? 274. Is that leave anything left over to have a third angle? So there's only one triangle. That's how you check that. So you guys just solved, using law of sines and law of cosines, this triangle. Agreed? You okay? Yes or no? Okay. So if we go to the next example, this is a little different. Why is this one a little different? They gave me an angle. A side note. If I asked you to find the area of this triangle, they're not asking you to do that, I'm just talking. They asked me to find the area. Do I know how to? Anybody remember what area was?
Multiply all the outside.
Not multiply.
Add.
Well, wait, what were you going to say? I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish.
Multiply all the exterior.
Okay, you're going to multiply the two sides that they gave you times what? Say it again, Michael. Sine of 25. And then you do what? Divide all of that by 2. That would be to find the area. Why can you use that formula? With the information they gave us, how come you can use that?
Because you have a side of 2.
You have two sides and the angle what?
Angle that's
In between.
It's in between. Remember, it's just got to be in between the two sides they give you. So if you have a triangle and it's set up that they gave you two of the sides and the angle in between, you can use this formula where you take the two sides, multiply them together, times the sine of the angle that they gave you. Just a little refresher from before. Okay, that's not what we're doing on this one though. All right, so law of sines, law of cosines. I have to solve this triangle. I have to find what side A is and angle C and angle B. Can I use the law of sines?
yes.
What do I need for law of sines? I need an angle and its corresponding side, right? Do I have that? I have part of it. So what do I have to find first?
The last side.
Okay, so let's find A. Which formula am I going to use?
You're going to use the standard.
The one that looks like a Pythagorean theorem? It's not Pythagorean theorem, but it's a play on it. So you would say A squared equals, lots of stuff with your calculator, guys. It's B squared plus C squared. So what's B? 9 squared plus 12 squared. Then what? Minus 2 times 9 times 12 times cosine of 25. It's a lot going on there. Yes, ma'am.
Why can't we use Pythagorean theorem?
Because it's not a right triangle.
Oh,
Good question, but it's not a right triangle. Now we see. Well, wait a second. Wait a second. Did I fill everything in right with my formula? Did you guys get it all filled in right? Then that's all we do now is just solve. You can put that entire thing in your calculator and get your answer. If you do, what do you get? A squared equals what? A squared equals,
29 squared. Well, 29 squared, 2 squared.
say it again.
29.2 squared.
When you do that all, you get, what do you got? Everybody do it. So you get 29.2, something like that. And then how do you find what A is? Take the square root. What do you get? 5.4, something like that. Again, if you didn't do all of that in your calculator, just make sure that if you do this as 81 and this is 144, that you do this in parentheses. But A is 5.4. Now, can you use this information to solve the rest of the triangle? Yes. Okay, so let's do that. What do you want to find first? Angle B? Okay. So if I find angle B, I'm going to say sine of 25 over 5.4 equals what? Sine of B over 9. So if we cross multiply, right? Divide by 5.4. So give me 4 decimal places. Sine of B is
0.70444.
okay. So what is the measure of B if I do second sine 0.7044? 44.8. Okay.
No, what did you do the 9 times sine of 25?
Why did I do that?
No. Oh, wait, never mind. Okay, I understand. You know,
Okay, so we found that B was how much did we say?
44.7.
44 point, we'll say 8. Now, guys, let's just make sure that we're solving our triangles correctly. What is the angle that they gave us? They gave us what? Okay, so they gave me that angle A was 25 degrees. So if there was a second triangle, it would be 25 degrees in both of those. What did we find angle B to be about? 44.8, okay. So what would angle C be? 110.2. Where'd you get that from? Add these two and subtract. Okay, let's see if a second triangle exists. Find the supplement to this. What's 180 minus 44.8?
It's 135.2.
135 point what?
2.
All right, so then what do I do with these two numbers? What's 135 and 0.2 and 25? 160.3? 160.2? All right, what do you guys notice about 160? Is it less than or greater than 180? It's less than. That means there's some leftover degrees. So what's 180 minus 160.2? What is it? Do 160.2 minus, or 180 minus 160.2. How many triangles exist in this case, guys?
2.
2. You always have to check to see if there's 1 or 2 triangles. So we just solved this triangle, but there actually is 2 solutions using the law of cosines and sines. You just have to always make sure you go back and check. If you guys get stuck on that or still wondering how we figured that out, we're going to practice it the next couple days. Yes, sir?
Quiz or test, will you only give us like 2 triangles at most, or will we have to find more?
No, it'll either be 0, 1, or 2. Okay. Moving along. Last example. You guys have 3 ways to find area, and we'll talk about them in a second, but this is the last way. If I said to you, find the area of this triangle, right? The 3 ways we know is, first of all, if you knew this piece of information right here, pretend that's the straightest line you've ever seen. All right, say I told you this was 15. meters. How would you find the height? I mean, how would you find the area of this triangle? You would do 15 times 72 divided by 2. Because you have the height. But we don't have that. I just made that up. Can I use the area formula that involves two sides and the angle in between? No, because I don't have the angle part. Could I find the angle with the information they gave me? Yeah, absolutely. If you didn't know Heron's formula and they asked you to find the area, you could find one of the angle measures using law of cosines and then figure it out. But you're going to have a question on your quiz that says using Heron's formula. So when you have a triangle and they give you all three sides, you have to use what's called Heron's formula. This is Heron's formula. All it is a relationship of the sides, guys. Here's the formula. You have the square root of whatever the value of s is, and you multiply it by s subtracted by every side. You got to find what s is. How do you find s? What do you do to the three sides? Nope. What does that say in the formula? You add them up and divide by 2. So all you're going to do is you're going to first find the value of s. What are the three sides that I'm looking at? 43, 53, and 72, right? Okay, if you have your calculator, I want you to do this both ways with me. First thing I want you to do is put it in exactly how you see it right there, no parentheses. Just do 43 plus 53 plus 72 divided by 2. You get 132, okay?
No, I got 84. Yeah.
Did you do the whole thing?
I did it with no
But and then did you hit divided by 2?
Yes, I did.
With parentheses or no?
Oh. I just did it no parentheses.
Okay, you did it with no, you did the whole thing and hit divided by 2, right?
Yeah.
And you got 132, okay? And then some of you are like, wait, I got 84. Dallas, did you use parentheses?
No.
Okay, so some of our calculators are smarter than others is what I'm trying to show you. What you need to do is you need to tell your calculator, hey, add the top together first, then divide by 2.
Yeah, because it used pen to-
Because you get a different, your calculator doesn't understand that you want it to add everything, then divide by 2. If you don't put the parenthesis, what it does is it adds, or it divides here first, and then adds the 43 and the 53. I know you guys know order of operations, but when you're on a quiz and you do this kind of quickly and you're like, wait a second, that doesn't seem right, you're just going to go through and do it. So make sure, I suggest, because I know you all know how to use a calculator and everybody here can add and subtract, I would suggest, just to check yourself, do the numerator, then divide by 2, just to make sure, to double check you get the right answer. But what is the value of s? The correct value of s? 84. It is 84. So I showed you the formula one time. I'm not even going to pull it up because I know this formula is super easy and you guys can handle it. The first thing we do is write down 84. And then what are my three parentheses?
84 minus A.
84 minus one of the sides, which is what, 43? 84 minus another side, which is 53, and 84 minus the last side, which is 72. Does it matter which side you do where? No. Now, some of your calculators, again, are smarter than others. You can put all this in, and your parentheses don't mess you up. Some of them aren't. So I personally am going to just simplify each thing so you guys can see. What's 84 minus 43? 41. What's 84 minus 53? Thank you for asking. What's 84 minus 12? Just kidding. 84 minus 72? 12. Okay. Multiply all this together. 84, 41, 31, 12.
1,281,168.
Thank you, sir, for reading it like a grown-up. Not saying 1281168. God bless you. So now if I take the square root, ladies and gents, what is the approximate area of this triangle?
1,131. How many decimal places do you want?
2 is fine.
8, 9.
And it's meters squared. So on your quiz, okay, I think there's probably going to be around 6 questions because some of these take a long time, I know that. You'll probably have 2 law of sines. 2 law of cosines, which when you do law of cosine, what do you end up doing for the second step? Law of sines. And then you'll have a regular area formula, God bless you, and then a Heron's formula. Nothing too crazy, I promise. God bless you. Very straightforward. We're very sneezy today. Yes?
You have to memorize the formula?
I don't know. I'm leaning to not giving you the formulas, but I'm going to talk to Ms. Perez. We'll see. I don't know. I'll let you know tomorrow. But I'll post this video in just a second.